What up, y'all? Day 3 of this challenge. And today, I wanted to talk about this book that I'm currently reading called I Don't Want to Talk About It. That's the title of the book. And it's based on male depression. Male depression. My dog hates cars. Male depression. And the book was written in, I believe, the early 2000s. I'm not entirely sure when, but it's been some time since he wrote it. But I started reading it because I heard of this therapist. There's a therapist who wrote it, Terrance Real. They call him Terry for short. He was on Tim Ferriss' podcast a few months back. I ordered the book, but I just never dug into it until most recently. No other reason than just it called to me. That's how I have a bunch of books I haven't read, and if it calls to me in that moment, I'll grab it and read it. I always have about like 12 to 15 books just like hanging out. And when I'm ready to read the next thing after I finish a book, I tend to look at them and just pick out whatever's, calls to me in that moment, wherever I'm going through in my life. And I'm not depressed or anything like that, but it's just interesting to see the clients that he works with. So, throughout the book, he uses not only his own experience, but he also uses some of the clients that he's worked with. Obviously, doesn't use their real names, all that stuff, keeps their privacy intact, but tells their story in many ways. And it's pretty eye-opening. I got it originally because I'm in my 30s, and like male friendships are so freaking hard. Like, you need them as a man. I used to have a great group of guys when I lived in New York. When I first moved out here, I started a men's group through this program I was a part of called Every Man. I don't even know if they still exist. I think they changed their name. But I started a group there. During the pandemic, we did virtual meetings, I think like bi-monthly or something like that, bi-weekly. And eventually, things happen. Guys had things happen in their life where they weren't able to maintain the meetings as frequent. And as someone doing it by himself, as well as my own life getting busy with moving and stuff like that, we decided to disband it. And ever since then, it's just been very difficult to find friends. I have met some guys out here that became friends, but the two of them that I got pretty close with both moved out of California, and they moved back to the East Coast. They're originally from the East Coast. And that's kind of sad. My best friend moved out of New York as well and currently lives in Ohio. So, I almost moved there at one point, but that's a story for another time. But it's hard. And I think male depression comes from one of the things, outside of many other things, like historically, like what you have gone through personally, like how you grew up. I mean, I was depressed for a while. I don't know if I was clinically depressed, but to the point that, I've had very scary, dark thoughts. But I didn't grow up with my dad. We're cool now, but not having a father figure in my life, that was a lot of healing I had to do in my late 20s, which I did that work. And it wasn't easy. It was tough. And I used a bunch of different modalities for that work. And this is something a lot of guys don't do. And you can tell there's a difference between guys who have done the work and guys who have. And it's tough because, us guys in this age group, at least in my mid 30s, we're busy. It's like the pinnacle of our career is like we're kind of at that point. Usually we're very busy. We're first time parents or second time parents, depending on what state you're in. We're married. We have partners to make sure we take care of. And most people already have friends that they've already, they have capacity for. They don't have capacity to meet new people, right? But also, on the flip side of that, men are also very afraid to be vulnerable, which this book goes into detail a lot. We're very vulnerable, but at the same time, society teaches us not to be, if that makes sense. And that's a lot of the stories that you hear. It's consistent across many stories that these men are they're not able to be vulnerable. Like, just to prevent being vulnerable, they'll break up with their partners, they'll do drugs, drink, overconsume food, like so many addictions that can be done closed behind closed doors. That's what they use to cope instead of having a group of men that help them. So I'm trying. Like, I got a church. I go to church, and there is a men's group. Unfortunately, they only meet once a month, and I just started. This is starting to move, and I just started. So it takes time before you can meet people. It takes time to build a relationship. I believe I heard statistically out there, it takes about, I think, 200 hours before you make a close friend, not even a best friend. Or best friend is like 1,000 hours or something like that of just time spent together. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Obviously, like my best friend, we've done the 1,000 hours together. We've been good friends for like 12 years at this point. So it makes sense. And a lot of my high school buddies, we all just went separate paths, and it was really hard to maintain those friendships because we were like, well, we don't agree on the same things anymore. We all live in different states. Like, it just kind of like naturally dissipated after some time. All of us got, kids and marriage and all those stuff. And you got single guys and you got married guys. It's really hard to kind of mingle those two. So I'm in the process of trying my best to find guys who are willing to be good friends. Whether that's like, hey, let's go work out together. Let's go on some hikes. Let's talk about the deep shit that we're going through. Because we need friends. I admire my partner, and I admire a lot of women that I have either dated or just have as friends. They have many close friendships. Like, women are so they make it look so easy. Like, they have all these friends. Like, my partner is like, I have too many close friends that I want to spend time with, and I feel like I don't have that amount of time. And I'm like, wow, that's a good problem to have, And I always tell her, like, just bring everyone together, even if they're like, they believe in different things and they want to do different things. They probably don't have the same interests, right? Like, some are religious and Christian, some are like a yoga community and very anti-religion or secular in many cases, or agnostic. So yeah, like, that's, I don't know. I don't have a point of this story. Just saying that check on your guy friends or check on the men in your life. They might not be doing it as well as you think, or they could be doing it as well as you think. But regardless, they're probably struggling. Like, there's many stories in this book about men that you would think externally are like living the best life. They make the good money. They have the beautiful wife, the kids, the house. Like, they have everything, and then they go through a midlife crisis, cheat on their wife even though everything is going great, or decide to like just blow everything up in their lives, start taking crazy drugs, doing like alcohol, drinking a lot. These are the things that start to come out because they haven't healed trauma from the past. So check on your guys, and tell them everything's going to be okay and that you're there for them, because I think that's important. So with that being said, I'm going to head out and walk this guy right here. And I hope you have the great rest of your day. And I'll be coming out with another video tomorrow. So, number 4 tomorrow. Check y'all later.